Well, week 4 is in the books, and as always, we get closer to district play. It's going to be a lot tighter of competition, and we saw that this week with a couple of teams playing against Region 4 opponents, and we've had a shakeup in the standings for the non-district portion of it. Plus, the number 1 overall team in the country protects their home floor against a previously unbeaten team. All that and more in this week's edition of the Central District Hoops Report. I'm your host, Justin Griffiths, and let's go ahead and jump into the first team, the Kaskaskia Blue Devils. Starting off with Kaskaskia Blue Devils, where they had 3 games this week, starting off with Greenville JV. Then they played Dyersburg State on Wednesday the 19th, finally finishing out with traveling to Oakland City University to play their JV team. Winning all 3 games was huge for Coach Hancock and the Blue Devils. Let's go ahead and quickly look into the 2 games of JV and then break down the Dyersburg State game a little bit more. For the JV game against Greenville University, Alan Myers was the leading scorer. He was 9 of 17 from the field, 2 of 5 from behind the arc. He grabbed 11 defensive rebounds out of his 14 rebounds overall. He finished with 25 points. Miles Liddell was the only other starter in double figures. He was 6 of 12 shooting from the field. He had 7 assists to go along with 8 rebounds, and he finished with 15 points. Off the bench, it was Antoine Tillman, who was 8 of 10 shooting from the field, 3 of 4 from behind the arc. He also had 9 assists to go along with 2 rebounds and 2 steals. He finished leading the Blue Devils off the bench with 19 points. Now let's go ahead and actually switch over to the Saturday game, Oakland City. Again, another JV game where Kaskaskia was favored to win heavily. This one, all 5 starters were in double figures, led by Antoine Tillman, who was 8 of 12 shooting from the field. Kenyon Garrett Miller was 8 of 12 as well from the field. The biggest difference was Antoine Tillman was 5 of 7 from the free throw line, while Garrett Miller was 1 of 1. Tillman had 5 rebounds to go along with 3 assists and 2 steals, and Garrett Miller had 7 rebounds to go along with 3 assists and 2 steals as well. Again, both players finishing with 21 and 17 points respectively. Alan Myers was 9 of 11 shooting from the field, and he finished with 20 points to go along with 3 block shots. Off the bench, it was Hayden Huels, who was 6 of 8 shooting from the field, finishing with 14 points, grabbing 4 rebounds, 3 of them being on the defensive side of the ball. He did have 3 turnovers, however. So again, really chalk when it comes to the 2 JV games. Now let's go ahead and look at the Dyersburg State game, where Kaskaskia was able to protect their home floor. They led by 11 at the break, and then were able to add 7 more to it, winning 91-73. For the Blue Devils, they were led in scoring by Alan Myers, so a lot of talking about Alan Myers already. 8 of 17 shooting from the field, 3 of 5 from behind the arc, and 5 of 5 from the free throw line. He had 8 rebounds, 6 of them being on the defensive side of the ball. Had 2 steals, 1 assist, and finished with 24 points. Miles Liddell and Kenyon Garrett Miller once again finishing with 18 points. Garrett Miller was 7 of 14 shooting from the field, 4 of 4 from behind the arc, had 6 defensive rebounds, finished with 18 points. Liddell also finished with 18 points. He was 7 of 15 from the field, 2 of 4 from behind the arc, grabbed 5 assists and 4 steals. Again, 18 points. Antoine Tillman starting in this game, finished 7 of 13 from the field, had 17 points, 6 assists to go along with 2 rebounds and 2 steals. Again, all 5 starters for Kaskaskia in double figures. Off the bench, Abadou Faye was 2 of 3 shooting. He finished with 4 points. So not a lot of bench work coming off of it for Kaskaskia, but as a team, they shot the ball really well. 35 of 75, beating out Dyersburg State, and the percentages by over 4. Dyersburg State lived and died by the threes, 7 of 23, while Kaskaskia was 11 of 21. Free throw wise, Dyersburg State had the free throw disparity, 21 to 12. Made 16 of them compared to Kaskaskia's 10. And they won the rebounding battle, but lost the turnover battle. So that's going to be big once we hit district play. Can you win the rebound battle? Can you win the turnover battle? If you're able to win both, you more than likely win this game. For Kaskaskia, they were out rebounded, but were able to win the turnover battle, and thus gave them the win here. Again, Kaskaskia coming in to the post-Thanksgiving break area at 7-1. They're going to be what everybody thinks they're going to be, which is a tough district opponent going forward. Next up, you have the Lakeland Lakers, and they only had one game this week, taking on Glen Oaks Community College, where Lakeland actually won this game late, 84-82. The Lakers actually trailed at the half, 39-41, able to outscore the Vikings in the second half. Let's go ahead and look into this one a little bit more. For Coach Larry's team, Stevie Tatum led the way, 6 of 18 shooting from the field, 3 of 10 from behind the arc, and 5 of 6 from the free throw line. He finished with 20 points, also had 2 rebounds. Jay Summit was in double figures with 12 points off of a 5 of 8 shooting performance, but the 6 offensive rebounds to go along with the 9 defensive ones for a total of 15 rebounds and 4 assists really stood out to me here in this game. For the Lakers, also, Lavelle Tinsley was 5 of 9 shooting from the field, 4 of 7 from behind the arc, having 4 rebounds, 3 assists as well. He finished with 16 points. Aiden Swinson came off the bench, 8 of 14, 1 of 3 from behind the arc, 6 rebounds, an assist, and 2 steals, finishing with 19 points for the Lakers. Again, Coach Larry having a quality opponent before district starts up, and it is paramount that you have these games where you might struggle a little bit, but this does snap a 3-game losing streak for the Lakers, and they go into the Thanksgiving holiday with 3 tough games. They have Danville area on Tuesday, and then Minnesota West Community and Technical College on Black Friday, and then Southeastern Community College on Saturday. So, again, a lot of great opponents for Lakeland heading into district play. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens going forward, and we will see how Coach Larry moves this team back over 500. Then you have the Lincoln Trail Statesmen, who are looking to bounce back after a loss to Danville area, 66-56, last Saturday. And so they have a whole week to prepare. They took on Oakland City JV this past week, and it is Lincoln Trail able to pick up a 102-74 victory. Let's go ahead and see how the Statesmen were able to do so. Jared Jackson led the way for the Statesmen starter-wise with 16 points off of a 7 of 9 shooting performance. Had 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, and 2 blocks to go along with it. Michael Smith III had 5 of 8 shooting, 3 of 3 from the foul line, had 6 defensive rebounds and 2 steals to finish with 13 points. Mike White also finished with 13 points and 3 assists. He was 4 of 7 shooting from the field, 3 of 5 from behind the arc. For the Statesmen to have 3 in, I would say, mid-teens scoring-wise as starters is always great. He was also able to get plenty of contributions off the bench. Leading the way was Asher Evans, who was 6 of 8 shooting from the field, 2 of 3 from behind the arc, had 3 rebounds and 6 steals to go along with 16 points. Again, he led the way for them, but everybody that Coach Cotton put in there off the bench was able to score, and that's going to be, again, I said this with Kaskaskia, bench play is huge when it comes to district play, and we see why. Everybody contributes, so you don't have to focus on just the 5 going forward. Big step up for Coach Cotton's team. They were able to bounce back. They go into this week 4-3 and looking to better themselves as they take on Indian Hills, which I'll get to later in the episode. Then you have the Olney Central Blue Knights, who are looking to bounce back a little bit after their loss to Kankakee on the 15th. They only had one game against Mineral Area on Saturday. Unfortunately for the Blue Knights, they fall 89-52, but let's go ahead and look to see what the Blue Knights did well. They were led in scoring. First of all, they had to overcome a huge first half deficit, 50-19 at the break. They were almost able to cut into it a little bit, holding Mineral Area to only 39 points in the second half while scoring 33. 89-52 the final. Leading the way was Jaden Eldridge, who was 5 of 16 shooting from the field, 4 of 10 from behind the arc, grabbing 6 rebounds, all of them being on the defensive side of the ball, and finishing with 14 points. Kassam Nash was 3 of 11 shooting from the field, but 7 of 8 from the foul line, had 4 rebounds on the defensive side, 6 rebounds total, 3 assists, 2 steals, and finished with 13 points. The final Blue Knight in double figures was Gabe Johnson. He was 5 of 10 shooting from the field, finishing with 11 points, go along with 3 assists and 4 rebounds. But again, the coaches only got 7 points off their bench, led by Caden Big Country Miller, who was 1 of 2 from the field, 2 from the foul line, had 3 rebounds and a block shot. Jordan Babcock was 1 of 5 shooting from the field, 1 of 4 from behind the arc, and finishing with 3 points. Again, I'm going to say this till the cows come home. Bench play matters when you're getting into district play. And so not only was it just a bad shooting performance for Olney Central, 18 of 51 for 35.3%, 6 of 17 from behind the arc for almost the same amount there. Actually, it is the same amount there. They were 10 of 17 from the foul line. They lost the rebounding battle 25-27, and they had 22 turnovers. There's your biggest reason why you lose the game. On top of no bench play, 22 turnovers normally means you lose this ball game. And for the Blue Knights, they do lose here their second straight loss. Again, trying to rebuild a winning culture, and you're coming off of 3 of 4 losses right now. You have a huge game against Henry Ford on the 29th. Again, we'll get more to the previews later on. But again, for Mineral Area, or for Olney against Mineral Area, it was a good barometer test to see where you were. And you fell short, and you didn't shoot the ball well, and you had 22 turnovers. Just a learning experience for your kids going forward. Then you have the Shawnee Saints, who had only one game this week against Volunteer State. They were able to pick up a 95-86 win, and then they were idle the rest of the week. So let's go ahead and look into this Volunteer State game. Again, a huge win for Coach Sparks' crew. As a team, they shot 33 of 64 for 51%. 12 of 26 from behind the arc, good for 46.2. Free throw wise, they were 17 of 26. They lost the rebounding battle by 5, won the turnover battle by 5. So pretty even score, and the score shows it here. It was the 3-point game at the break, and Shawnee didn't pull away until the second half, and even then it was by a small amount. for the 9-point victory. The Saints were led in scoring by Derek Shepard, who was 4 of 9 shooting from the field, 3 of 6 from behind the arc, had 8 rebounds, all on the defensive side. Also had 6 assists to finish with 14 points. Trey Jackson was 5 of 13 shooting from the field, 1 of 4 from behind the arc, having 5 rebounds, 8 assists, and 2 steals, finishing with 12 points. Israel Welton, who was 4 of 8 shooting from the field, and had 5 rebounds and 5 assists to go along with 11 points. Off the bench, however, is where the Saints really shine. 3 players in double figures here, led by Zayden Green led all scorers, 6 of 9 shooting from the field, 5 of 7 from behind the arc, and 4 of 5 from the foul line. He had 4 assists to go along with 3 rebounds, finishing with a team-high 21. James Deloche was 8 of 10 shooting from the field, having 7 rebounds to go along with an assist. He finished with 18 off the bench. And then Zion Green finished with 12 points off of a 4 of 9 shooting performance and 3 rebounds. So again, great bench play to complement your starting 5 where you had 3 players in double figures as well. For Shawnee, picking up their 6th win on the young season. And now you get to kind of enjoy your Thanksgiving a little bit. If we can get here. As you play SEMO Prep tonight at 8 p.m. So, and then you're off until December 3rd. Again, we'll get into the previews later on, but I do want to mention the next games for each teams. Again, Shawnee coming in at 6-1, and I think they are starting to get a little bit of national attention love. Then you have the Swick Blue Storm, who hosted Mineral Area, and man, the Cardinals were busy little Cardinals this week around the district as they went to Belleville and beat Swick 77-61 in this only game of the week for Swick. So let's go ahead and look into this one. Swick was led in scoring by Matthew Kupruelzi, who was 4 of 13 shooting from the field. Had 9 rebounds to go along with an assist and a steal, finishing with 12 points. He was 4 of 6 from the foul line, and he did grab 4 of his 9 rebounds being on the offensive end of things. He was the only Blue Storm player to be in double figures here. Off the bench, however, again, a decent bench performance. Just not able to or when you have 2 starters who put up a goose egg. The starters actually let down the bench in this one, in my opinion, as everybody was relatively even in scoring after Dante Montgomery Jr., who was 6 of 10 shooting from the field, the standout off the bench. He had 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals as well. After that, I mean, you had Nick Horace, who was a starter with 8 points. Jerome Weisinger, who was 3 of 9 shooting with 8 points. And then off the bench, the closest one to double figures was Daquan Little, who was 2 of 6 shooting. He finished with 6. So the Cardinals, once again, were able to pick off a district opponent and were able to do it with the help of their bench, who had 1 person in double figures. So again, I mean, we're looking at this, the bench, 11, 14, and then single digits here. It was really the fact that every single starter for Mineral Area scored in the first half. And again, that's why you have the 16-point win. They were even after halftime, 30-30 in the second half, just that big first half for Mineral Area. And that was just proven too much for Swick to overcome. Again, just kind of previewing the preview here. They have Jefferson College right before Thanksgiving, and then Moberly and State Fair after the holiday. Then you had the number one team in the country, the Vincennes Trailblazers, hosting unbeaten Kankakee Community College, coming down low to the PE complex from the Chicagoland area, did the Cavaliers, and Vincennes was able to protect their home turf, winning the game 78-55 in their only game of the week. Let's go ahead and look into this game. For the Trailblazers, they were led by Dayton Williams, who was 9 of 15 shooting from the field, 2 of 3 from behind the arc, and 3 of 4 from the foul line. Again, Vincennes is not the greatest free throw shooting team so far in the district. Actually, I think they're one of the lower ones when we looked at them last week at 58%. But back to Dayton Williams, 7 rebounds, all on the defensive side, with 4 assists, a steal, 2 blocks, finishing with a team-high 23 points. Lorenzo Malagini was 8 of 13 from the field, had a double-double with 16 points, 13 rebounds, 10 of them being on the defensive side of the ball, had 2 block shots, and again, 16 points for the only Trailblazer back in double figures. Once again, Coach Franklin used almost everybody, if not everybody, in this ball game to get some sense of a starting 5. Alex Montez came off the bench, being the closest one to being in double figures with 9 points off of a 3 of 6 shooting performance, having 1 rebound, or 2 rebounds total, 1 defensive, 1 offensive, 3 assists, and 9 points. Like I said, Jelani Jackson was 2 of 3 shooting, all from behind the arc for 6 points. You also had Dre Vassar as starter with 3 of 7 shooting for 6 points. Jalen Calloway had 7 points, 3 of 6 shooting. And Javon Guest was 1 of 4 for 2 points. Again, off the bench, it was Jelani Jackson, Alex Montez. Everybody else really didn't do a whole lot. And again, I will point out, though, that Coach Franklin did say in his postgame that Prince Ojukwu here got some good minutes for him. 8 rebounds as well. So, yeah, led the second in the team in rebounds with 8. But again, Vincennes able to protect home court. Let's just look at some team stats, how they did free throw-wise. Oh, there it is. 50% from the free throw line. So 11 of 22 from the foul stripe, while Kankakee was 9 of 20. 5 of 13 from behind the arc and shot over 50%. 31 of 61 from the field. They won the turnover or won the rebounding battle decisively. However, they lost the turnover battle by 7. So again, Coach Franklin said that he's still looking for his starting 5. They have one game before the Thanksgiving break, and they take on Henry Ford after in December. But Pulaski Community College comes in. Kevin Watson, who is currently doing the games for VU, says they're relatively new to the JUCO scene. I will see that game here tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern. So I am really looking forward to that one for the Trailblazers. And finally, you have the Wabash Valley Warriors, who took on Community Christian this week in their lone game, able to pick up a huge win for the Warriors. Their 4th win in 6 tries. Again, huge win for Coach McGee's team. 92-61 the final. Here, let's go ahead and look at the stats for Wabash Valley. They had 3 players in double figures, led by Nazir Leonard, who was 9 of 16 shooting from the field, 6 of 9 from the foul line, had 6 rebounds and 6 defensive rebounds, 6 assists to go along with a team-high 24. And then Cole Forlow was 9 of 12 shooting from the field, having 8 rebounds as well. 2 block shots and 2 steals to go along with it. He finished with 18. And then Taj Ford was 6 of 11 shooting from the field, had 6 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 steals, finishing with 12. Off the bench, nobody in double figures, however. Rafi Merriweather was close, 3 of 11 shooting from the field, had 9 rebounds, and finished with 8 points. Leading the way for the Warriors in the rebounding department and also adding 6 points was DeMario Spear. He had 13 rebounds and 5 assists as well. A lot of that was because, he only had 2 offensive rebounds. So 5 assists, 2 offensive rebounds, and finishing with 6 points was DeMario Spear. Again, Coach McGee's team looking good. Heading into the Thanksgiving holiday, they will go to Northeastern and then take on EMCC Friday, and then Three Rivers Saturday. Again, I'll get more into this in a little bit. But yeah, big win for Coach McGee. Their team is starting to turn it around a little bit as they are now on a 2-game win streak. And before we get started into next week's slate of games, let's go ahead and look at this. Vincennes leads the way at number 1, 8-0 on the year. Northwest Florida State 2. They actually picked up 3 votes. Then you have Daytona State 3 up from 4. Snow 4 up from 5. Jones 5 up from 6. Midland up 1 to 6. Trinity Valley up to 7. Then you have Gulf Coast at 8, up 3 slots. Odessa up 3 slots at 9. And Angelina up 3 slots to 10 to wrap up the top 10. Following that, you have Barton Community College at number 11, rising up 6 spots. Then you have South Plains at 12, College of Southern Idaho at 13, Indian Hills at 14, Coffeyville 15, Chipola 16, Walter State 17, Mineral Area 18, Howard 19, Moberly 20, Pensacola State 21, New Mexico Junior College 22, Cowley Community College 23. Then you have Connors State number 24 and Panola 25 to wrap up the top 25. Also, let's go ahead and look at the receiving votes category. We have Brunswick, Tallahassee, Eastern Arizona, Kilgore, Garden City, Murray State, and Shawnee, followed by Triton. So it's good to see another district team up into the top 25 range, even though they are in the receiving votes category. But yeah, that's your top 25. Now let's go ahead and preview this week's slate of games. And John A. Logan was the only team with a idle week this week for the district. So yeah, they did not play this week. But that does not mean that they do not play this week. So let's go ahead and talk about the Volunteers since we didn't do a recap with them. Again, they were idle this past week. They take on Kankakee, who just gotten bumped out of the unbeaten club by Vincennes, and Coach Smith Peters' team coming into this game 2-4 and riding a 4-game losing streak. Now, the good thing for the Volunteers is that is a home game for them, and then that is their only game of the week. Then in December, we'll preview this game too, is Ren Lake on the first part of the week. On Wednesday, December 3rd, they will host Ren Lake. So Kankakee, a huge test for Coach Smith Peters. They've had a little over a week to prepare for them. I'm sure Coach Smith Peters was at the game against Vincennes to see some tape live of the Cavaliers and the Trailblazers, because the Trailblazers are the first district opponent that the Volunteers take on. But not getting too far ahead of ourselves, they do have to worry about Kankakee first. Up next, we have the Olney Central Blue Knights. And I was talking about them being losers of 3 of the last 4. It's actually 5 of their last 6 coming into this game. They do take on Henry Ford, and that is going to be a difficult challenge for them. Just because Henry Ford always plays district opponents tough. Now, the good news for the Blue Knights is that it is at home in the dungeon, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. Central Time for that game on Saturday the 29th. So you get to enjoy a little bit of a break. You get to enjoy the Thanksgiving holiday. Then you get to come back to work and prepare for Henry Ford. And again, for a young team like Olney, it's going to be important to play as many games as you can on your home floor, as 2 of your last games you haven't been home in a while since Bosco Prep back on the 1st. So again, that is huge for Olney to be able to just play on their home floor again. I think that is going to be big. It's going to be big for their ego. I think they're going to win. I just think it's going to be a tighter game than what some people might think when you think of Henry Ford College. Then you have the Lakeland Lakers, who traveled Danville area tonight to take on Danville area. 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Central Time for that tip-off. And then after Danville area, you have a 2-game classic in Southeastern Iowa Community College, where the first game is against Minnesota West Community and Technical College. Regardless of what happens in Danville area, I think this one's going to be a good tune-up game for their game Saturday against Southeastern Community College. There's your big test for Coach Larry's team heading into this Broadway Classic that Southeastern hosts every year. Again, can't look past Danville area, though. They are a team that can come up and bite you. They are a very good Division II team, and we have seen teams fall to Division IIs just because the kids think that, oh, it's a Division II school. It's not worth getting up for. It absolutely is, and Danville area can prove it to you in a real hurry. So, first test is Danville area, and then Minnesota West Community and Technical College for the first game of the Broadway Classic, and then Southeastern to close that classic out for the Lakers. Then you have the Lincoln Trail Statesmen as they go to Ottumwa to take on Indian Hills before joining Lakeland in that Broadway Classic. So a big week for Coach Cotton's team. Indian Hills, and then Southeastern on Friday in the final game of that Broadway Classic. And then Minnesota West Community Technical College on Saturday. Again, a huge week for Lincoln Trail. They can come out of this week with 2 wins, 3 wins, or 1 win, to be honest with you, because I do think Minnesota West Community Tech College is a win for the Statesmen. It's really what they do against Indian Hills and Southeastern that is the biggest question mark. They are coming off of a huge win against Oakland JV, but before that they lost to Danville area by 10, and Olive Harvey in the Lakeland Classic earlier in the season as well. But they've also beaten Columbia State. So it's a toss-up. And it's going to be an interesting game, 2 games for the Statesmen for sure. And I am looking forward to it. Then you have the Kaskaskia Blue Devils. They will go to Southeastern Illinois to get a little bit of revenge as they take on the Falcons club team on November 25th tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Southeastern Illinois came into Kaskaskia and beat them in overtime 80-77. So again, a huge game for the Blue Devils. The only game this week, then they will go to Missouri Baptist and take on the JV team there before playing Rend Lake on Friday, December 5th. We'll get more into those two games next week after the holiday. But one game this week for Kaskaskia, and it is a revenge-style type game before they get to enjoy the turkey. Then you have the Swick Blue Storm, who plays against Jefferson College tonight, November 25th, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. They come into that matchup 3-2 on the year. After Jefferson College, they head to Moberly area to take on the Greyhounds Friday, November 28th, 8 p.m. Eastern Time for that one as well. And then they wrap up against State Fair Community College on Saturday the 29th at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. The last two games are part of the Moberly area Thanksgiving Classic. I can see this happening one of two ways. I can see Swick, like Lincoln Trail, picking up 3 wins. I can see them dropping 2 of the 3, but I do think they pick up at least 1 win this week. Whether that's Jefferson College or State Fair is up in the air. I know Moberly is going to be a tough one for them to pick up a win, but it's not out of the realm of possibility that they pick up all 3 wins this week. Then you have the Shawnee Saints coming into this game at 6-1 on the year. They only have 1 game against SEMO Prep tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, as they get ready for the December portion of their schedule. It should be a pretty good game if their meeting on the 1st of November was any indication for the Saints, where they won this one 86-62. I see that being more of the same here as SEMO Prep, as Shawnee is looking to pick up a huge win before they have to take on Three Rivers on December 3rd. So yeah, I think it's going to be just like on the 1st of November, where the Saints pick up a huge 20-plus point win against SEMO Prep. Then you have the Vincennes Trailblazers. They only have 1 game this week against Pellissippi State Community College. I will be at this game, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Actually, by the time you're watching this, I am on my way down to Vincennes. I'm very excited to be able to get a chance to see this game live. I don't get a lot of opportunities to catch the Trailblazers or any of these district teams live, really. So I'm going to jump at a chance I can. And again, I think the number 1 team in the country is going to play like the number 1 team in the country and defend home floor before having to face a enigma of a team in Henry Ford College. But yeah, Pellissippi Community College, again, according to Kevin Watson, is relatively new to the JUCO scene, and I just think that favors the Trailblazers overall. And finally, you have the Wabash Valley Warriors. Well, they'll go to Poplar Bluff to play on Thanksgiving night against Northeastern Oklahoma A&M College, and then play EMCC on Black Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time for both those 2 games, and then take on the host Three Rivers, 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Saturday the 29th as part of that Three Rivers Classic. I remember doing this one, or participating in this one, when I was a manager. My first year down in Vincennes, I believe we ate at Steak and Shake for our Thanksgiving meal that year. So hopefully Coach McGee can find a restaurant that's open for these guys. They will get a chance to play Northeastern Oklahoma A&M, and then EMCC, a tough team. And then it's going to be a toss-up if they can repeat what they did last week. It was just last week, where they beat Three Rivers 68-60. Or can Three Rivers get their revenge on their home floor during their own Thanksgiving Classic? That one's going to be fun to see, fun to watch, and I know Three Rivers streams that on at least their YouTube channel. I don't know if they do their Facebook or not, but definitely get a chance to see that on their YouTube channel. And that's going to do it for this week's episode, everybody. Like I said when I previewed Vincennes, I am currently on the road down to Vincennes, and I'm, as you probably can tell, I'm excited. I'm excited to see Coach Franklin, Coach Davis again. I'm excited to see the new lights in the stadium. I'm just excited to be back down on campus as a member of the Trailblazers for 3 years. It's something special, something I don't get to do all too often. I hope everybody has a safe and festive Thanksgiving. Get to spend some time with your families. For those that are traveling and cannot be with your families on Thanksgivings, I hope that you have a safe travels to your games and that you are prosperous in those. That's going to do it for this week. I will see you all next week. Peace.